There we go. Nice big cloud of Dominican cigar smoke and some fine Kentucky bourbon. To welcome you back to Two Hands and a Face Audio, we're very pleased to have you with us on this occasion. And again, you will note the absence of gear in my hands. No guitars, no stomp boxes, no basses, no hand drums, nothing up my sleeve. Because on this occasion, we're going to take this opportunity to talk about gigging and share some gigging experience that I've had. The last video we did was called Gig Recon or Gig Reconnaissance, where I suggested going to a venue before you play it, even if you played it before, so that you can kind of size up the situation for your technical needs, electrical needs, meet who you're going to be interacting with that work in the establishment, all those kinds of things. On this occasion, I wanted to discuss what could aptly be called gig protocols, because there are certain things that are helpful to know when you're interacting with the folks working in the establishment that not all musicians fulfill, and they would do well to keep these in mind. So again, not trying to give anybody advice, just trying to share some experience that I've had in, 45 years of gigging. I hate to admit that I'm that old, but I am, so there you go. First thing to bear in mind, everything on this earth that is commerce related is a gratuity business. Doesn't matter what it is. Everybody likes money. Everybody likes being patted a little bit of money, fed a little bit of money. So when you go to a gig and you find out who's taking care of the stage on that occasion, the server, or maybe the bartender's going to bring your drinks, your food, go ahead and tip them up front. If you have the capacity and the cash flow to do that, and I hope you do, tip your server/bartender up front. Give them a $10 or a $20 bill. They're going to appreciate the gesture, man. And it's going to make everything that you do with them that evening, all of your interaction with that person, far smoother. And other people are going to notice too, like the management person that hired you for the gig. They're going to know that you're treating their staff right, that you're tipping them and treating them with respect. And they're all going to know that, hey, we're all in this together. We all work here tonight, and we're all co-workers. So go ahead and tip your server/bartender, whoever's going to be bringing you drinks, maybe setting you up with some food before the second or third set. Let that person know that you're thinking about them too. So tips, always a good idea. Tip your people. And it's always a good idea to encourage your audience to do the same, man. You don't have to harp on it after every song, but a couple of times in each set, it's very nice if you can remind the crowd, hey, these servers and bartenders are working very hard for you. Show them a little bit of love. Not a bad idea at all. Because again, on that occasion, we're all in it together. We're all co-workers, part of the same team. So that said, another point to make, it's always wise to show up early to a gig. Always wise. Don't be the person that comes squealing into the parking lot and then dragging gear in front of the dining crowd. You want to beat that crowd in there and set up as early as you possibly can. But once you've gotten yourself set up, go ahead and start your engines, as it were. Give yourself a half-hour window before you start playing. If your gig starts at 7:30, get up on stage at 7 and kind of slowly dial in your sound and ease in your signal in case there's a feedback issue you're not aware of and you can hear it coming and kind of head it off at the pass. So even though it might be not what you'd call a sound check, give yourself a preliminary system check with a 30-minute window. That 30-minute window will give you time to fix something that may be wrong. Maybe a monitor is out. Maybe there's a cord not pushed all the way in, something simple like that. Maybe there's a dead battery somewhere in a processor that you're depending on to help you deliver your sound and your signal that night. So give yourself that 30-minute window, and by all means, get to the gig early enough to set up and have that 30-minute window so that you can slowly dial in your sound. Make sure it's what you want it to be. You want to make a good impression. Couple more things to remember in the terms of courtesy and politeness. Don't shout your drink order. If you run out of booze during a set, don't shout your drink order over the mic, man. It comes off as though you're talking down to your server. We don't want them to be thought of as our personal servant. So whenever possible, motion for your server discreetly. By all means, get their attention discreetly, but try not to give your food and drink orders over the mic. Kind of in poor taste. Recommend you don't do it. Requests, you're definitely going to get them. If you're in a cover situation, you're definitely going to get them. You might get some in an original presentation of music. I certainly have. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened. But if you're doing cover sounds, you're definitely going to get a request here and there. And what you want to do is process every request respectfully. Let your customer know, hey, you know what? We don't know that particular one, but we're going to do something from that genre for you, or we're going to get into that vein for you. Give us a couple of tunes and we'll get something up here that we think you'll like. So, if you can deliver the song they're asking for, that's a great idea. But try to temper your requests with your own working knowledge of the histories of certain songs. I mean, I hate to say it, there's some really tired tunes out there. For every one person that wants to hear Mustang Sally, there's probably 20 more people in that crowd that really don't want to hear Mustang Sally again. Not that there's anything wrong with that tune. It's a great classic. God love Wilson Pickett and his great band. But there are certain tunes out there that are beyond tired. And if you can get around doing them, it might be the better route. Because again, for every person in the audience that wants to hear that tune and asks you specifically for it, there could be a dozen more that really don't want to hear it, especially if it's something really, really tired that's been done to death. Anyway, it's bound to happen. So even if you can't fulfill a request, handle every request with respect and politeness. And if you can't fulfill it, try to get something in that ballpark for that customer, because they're showing an interest in you. They're paying you a compliment by making that request. No two ways about it. Anybody who comes up and leaves a tip, man, give them a thank you. Even if you're in the middle of a tune, smile at them and nod to them. If they give it to you when you are not vocalizing and you can acknowledge a thank you, hey man, appreciate it. Even something brief between tunes. Just make sure that you acknowledge everybody who leaves you a tip, and make sure that you thank everybody who leaves you a tip, even if it's in the middle of a tune. And speaking of tipping, here's a good tactic for bolstering your tips. You're on a stage or in a staged setting. You've got a tip jar sitting on the floor or on a little stand or a bucket in front of you. If you have any original material at all that you've recorded, maybe in the form of an old CD, maybe on a thumb drive, put some CDs and some drives next to your tip jar and just let people know, hey, I've got some original music here for you to sample. Pay me whatever you think it's worth. You can just drop it in the tip jar. It's kind of an honor system thing. It lets you show some trust in your audience, and it lets them feel trusted. It's kind of a nice thing. It's a nice and a social thing. So put your original music in whatever format, CD or thumb drive, next to your tip jar, and just let folks know, hey man, here's a musical offering, and whatever you think it's worth is cool. Maybe they'll put in $2. A lot of people will stick a $20 bill in there, which is more than you expect to get for a 5-song EP on a thumb drive that you paid 80 cents for. So hey man, the profit is there, but the main thing is get your music out there. Get your music in the hands of people that may begin to follow you as a fan, not just for your cover gigs, but for your original stuff. Be careful if you've recorded some cover material because you think you do it particularly well. It's kind of a slippery slope these days. You can't get into copyright confrontation. So try not to do that unless you've actually recorded it with the permission of the copyright owning entity. And it's not that difficult to obtain that permission, and it's not very expensive either. So it's something to look into if you're going to offer recordings of music that are not your tunes. Something to think about. But putting your own information and your own material out there next to your tip jar is a great way to increase your tips. So, if you're new to this situation and you're questioning your behavior or not entirely sure yourself in front of a crowd, A great rule of thumb is don't stare into the eyes of your patrons. Look above them. From their perspective, it'll look like you're looking at the audience and engaging with people, but mostly you're looking over their heads. Now, there are those times when you're going to see somebody smiling at you, you're going to want to look them dead in the eye and smile right back. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. If you have a reason to engage somebody with a glance, by all means do so. But don't stare at any one person too long. That's a good rule of thumb for life, not just a gig, because it could be taken the wrong way. If you make a mistake, if you deliver a clam, just keep playing, man. Keep playing like nothing happened. Now, if it's such a big clam that the audience acknowledges it, acknowledge the clam with them. Nothing wrong with that. We all make mistakes. If it's a funny clam and you make it so overtly that people laugh at you, then the best thing you can do is laugh with them. And at the end of the tune, you might even say, hey man, somebody send up some cocktail sauce to go with all these clams I just delivered. You can joke it off, you can blow it off casually, but definitely enjoy the moment. Use it to ingratiate yourself to the audience. Not a big deal to make a clam. It's going to happen. And if the audience knows it, it might even be a moment of levity. A good laugh can be had by all. So look at a mistake that you make that way. Clams are clams, man. Not the end of the world. So, what else can we tell you from the vast 40-something years of experience that we've had playing these gigs? One other thing I can think of to say that is, if you're in a venue and there's an event going on somewhere in that venue, maybe it's 6 people at a table off in the corner, and obviously one of them is having a birthday. Maybe they don't want to engage with the entertainment. That's okay. But it's always a good idea to acknowledge that, let them know that something's going on, and you could do something as simple as, between songs, hey man, happy birthday to you over there, and many happy returns. Whatever you want to say. Or if it's something that engages a bigger part of the room, by all means acknowledge it. Hey, so-and-so's graduation ceremony is this evening, and we want to congratulate them on their academic prowess and success. Whatever you want to say. But don't ignore the event in the room. At the very least, acknowledge it lightly. And at the most, get more involved with it. Hey, is there something we can play for you specifically now that you're going on to college or you joined the military? We're proud of you. And always acknowledge your soldiers when you know they're soldiers. Thank them for their service. And again, a great way to ingratiate yourself to the crowd, and the right thing to do. So anyway, we're going to be making more and more 2 hands in a face videos that share experiences that I've had over 43, 44 years of gigging. And again, it's not advice, just hopefully some helpful tips, hopefully some information you can use. And I hope you get out there and kick it in the ass gig-wise. Go get them, go play them, enjoy them, revel in those moments. It's a wonderful thing to play music for an audience, man. So, good luck with your gigging. If this was helpful at all, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, man. You don't even have to use a lit cigar. You can use the bottom of your shot glass that's hopefully full of good Kentucky whiskey. So, subscribe. Please join us again, and thanks for tuning in.